Good morning, everybody. I'm Luke Sullivan. Happy Friday. Welcome to Transwest Truck Trailer RV. Right on Interstate 25, just north of Denver. You can't miss us. A lot of our videos are new inventory. We've got a ton of new inventory. A lot of that new inventory, as it leaves, brings in trades, and that's what we've got behind us. And it's actually a really new trade. It's a 2024 4-horse with a closet tack. So a lot of versatility with storage. You've got the option to maybe weekend out of the gooseneck and not have to share that space with your equipment, your saddle pads, especially if you've got sweaty equipment or something like that. But a couple specs on this one: 24 feet on the floor, so very manageable. We are 6'10" wide and we are 7'1" tall, so you've got a lot of headspace in this guy. 24 on the floor with an 8-foot gooseneck. You're around 32 feet overall, nose to tail. So really quick, let's get into the meat and potatoes of things. 2 5/16 inch coupler, same third generation now. B&W and Cimarron have done this for quite a while now. This is the latest iteration that are even on the 25s, 26s that are on the lot. So you've got that, not missing out on anything there. A lot of adjustability with that. Big heavy duty safety chains. Please folks, even with your gooseneck trailers, use your safety chains. And then coiled up breakaway cable too for your emergency disconnect. Nice, I like that. Just the smaller touches with those types of things keep that mess out of the bed of your truck. And then we're a typical 7-pin connection. Got it plugged into a box to run some lights for you, but nice and handy. All our late model trucks are running those. You will see it is a manual crank trailer. These jacks crank really nice and really easy. They're not as stiff as a lot of the old ones, and these trailers are pretty light too in terms of that weight that you're lifting. But even still, with our used trailers, our used inventory, if you want to do some add-ons, if that's something you're interested in, big bonus if you do go with an electric over hydraulic jack is you get a 12-volt battery service. With that service, you can run some tack room lights, some floodlights, even when you're not plugged into a dummy box for a video or your tow vehicle. So we can still do add-ons. You actually can see Cimarron even builds these out with the framework already in place to hang your battery boxes from, so it's a very easy upfit. We do still have a full-size matching spare wheel and tire. Matches, if you have a blowout on your way to a show, you always want to look your best. Of course, you're not going to throw a rusty steel wheel that's been hanging out under your gooseneck. And then we bring it up a little bit too, just to save face a little bit. Again, really nice to have that full-size matching spare wheel and tire. And we're original running gear on this trailer, but again, talk really quickly about our used inventory and safety checks and what we do and go through. We check lights, we check bearings, we check brakes. Inherently, whenever you do that, you pull those hubs apart, so you're getting, in essence, a new grease session out of it, or a new maintenance reset out of the whole deal when you leave our lot. So remember that as well. And then we do age out tires. Obviously not an issue with this trailer just being a year old, but we'll age out tires. That's a big consideration for us on our trade-in values too. If we have to replace tires, 5 years is our mark, and every tire going down the road has a date code on it. So let's get into some of the really neat parts about this trailer and what makes it a little bit more unique. Stands out first and foremost, it's got a really big front tack. So if you are going to spend some weekends in it, you've got the option to separate all of your stuff and have a nice area in here to kind of live in and weekend out of, and be separate from your horse gear and your tack, which we've all know smells a little different than maybe how we want to live on a daily basis. As you step into the tack room, nice door, and first and foremost, the flip out step is on a hydraulic shock. So no more pins, no more latches, nothing like that gets frozen up, especially a lot of gravel roads and dirt roads that we all live on or have our horses on. Makes a big difference, so you don't have to worry about pulling anything out like that. And then coming into the tack room, rubber matted floor, so really easy to blow this out and keep this clean. And then what I really like, first and foremost, is a nice little boot box here. Acts as a nice little bench to sit on to get changed. Acts as a really nice spot for extra storage, obviously. And then, like we said, if you're going to use this gooseneck as a spot to weekend, if you're going to use this gooseneck as storage, either way, this is a great step to get up into your gooseneck. And as you can see, fully carpeted, the drop wall itself and the gooseneck floor. So going to be a really comfy, cozy spot if that's somewhere you want to be for the weekend. Throw a bedroll or an air mattress up there, or if you're going to use it for storage, obviously it's a blank slate. You've got a couple windows across from each other, going to give you a bit of a cross ventilation, or if you are storing some stuff in here, if you've got some tack in here that you're storing, nice to be able to keep things dry or get a little ventilation going on here. Nice big OptiBrite LED, same style LEDs that we're using in our trailers today. So we're just a model year off of what's on the lot as it currently stands. So you're not missing a lot of those options or a lot of those amenities. So coming around to the back side, driver's side of the trailer, we've got another OptiBrite up there in the wall. Again, these things really light these trailers up. Time change. Here in Colorado, it's dark before 5 o'clock now. So if we're doing some stuff, untacking, trying to get ready or get loaded up for a show or head out early in the morning, nice to be able to see what you do. Those things really shed a lot of light. And then in the corner, obviously we're sharing the space a little bit with that closet tack area. So we've got this kind of little nook back here. Twofold, we get a nice shelf out of it. We get a fully carpeted floor to ceiling, and then just under the shelf as well is a nice clothes rod. So really nice to be able to maybe get a lot of our coats and pants and stuff out of the bed of our truck, the back seat of our truck, and maybe free up some space for some passengers and make everybody a bit more comfortable. And then on this same shared wall that we have with this closet tack, a bit more hanging space. So these are Cimarron's big bridle hooks or hanging hooks, whatever you want to call them. They're stout, they're really tall, and they're deep. So you're not going to find all your stuff on the ground when you get to your show or your destination like we've all done in the past. And then above me too, another OptiBrite. So we've got lights galore in here, 3 full OptiBrites, all on one control switch there. So again, you can turn night into day inside of these trailers and be really comfortable and see what you're doing. So stepping back out of the trailer, we'll close up this tack for you, and as we go, nice door holds on all of these. All these trailers are going to be keyed alike as well. Nice thing about Cimarron is that's that weather stripping that really actually makes those doors bounce back. So you do have to give them a pretty positive close. And then like we said, the steps, just the gas shock, no hinge, no pin, nothing that we have to worry about. That's its travel position and you're good to go. So a lot going on in a little space here. We call this a closet tack for a reason. Obviously very much resembles a closet, but we pack in a ton of amenities straight from the door right away. So first and foremost, fully carpeted door, keeps things kind of a bit more uniform, looks really nice. And then we've got the swing out saddle pad holder, which we can load this guy up if we were tacking up or loading up at a show or finishing up for a day of showing, getting ready to close up for the night. I would throw all my stuff on here, let it dry out for the day or even the night if you felt comfortable leaving it open like that, and then swing it back closed, out of the way, set it and forget it, and you're good to go. Down in the bottom of that door is our typical brush tray that we see on all of our tack room doors, partitioned out so we can stay a little bit more organized, and then a couple drain holes in there too, because of course we'll all have a spill. So I'll step in here really quick just to kind of go over the saddle racks. We sell poles for these as well, so if you want to add a pad pole below each rack, that's an option. There's a lot of versatility with these. If you can see on the back where these attach, there is a track where our nuts, where you kind of tighten everything up. So you can very easily loosen the nut on the top and the bottom of each rack and move them wherever you want. If you want to move this all the way to the ceiling, get it out of the way, you don't want to use it, but you want to have it with you if you ever need it, it's there. Or if you want to pull them off and kind of customize it, add some poles, like we said, you have those options. And then again, depending on your gear, depending on what kind of saddles you're running, you could certainly add a few more to this, maybe one more to this to squeeze a bit more space out of it, or squeeze a bit more gear in here. And that's certainly what the idea behind this space is to be able to fill it up with your gear and leave that other space for other uses. So again, as we look around inside of here, fully carpeted. Our wall towards the front of the trailer is fully carpeted. with a row of hooks, bridle hooks along that as well. So we've got a ton of storage. And then behind me as well, we've got some, you can see we're getting into our slant wall a little bit there. So we've got another row of hooks there, a ton of hanging storage. And then just like we do in a lot of our slant load style trailers, in that dead space that's always kind of lost a little bit, we do that corner water tank, or the triangular shaped water tank. So you're getting about 28 gallons worth of capacity. Bring some water from home, whether you're trail riding and you don't have access to water, you're showing in those swing seasons, and somebody, maybe the grounds have their water turned off, bring some from home. You know you've always got some, or if you're on a long road trip. And then you'll get a little 10-footer hose too. It's been pulled out of its box already, but you'll get that included too, to run outside and fill some buckets. One small feature that makes a huge difference in this space too is up high, right above my head, is a two-way roof vent. So you'll notice the Tack door doesn't have a window in it. There's no other form of ventilation. We talked about getting all of that stuff out of our gooseneck area to stay a little bit cleaner and a little bit, maybe keep the smell down a little bit. We want some ventilation in here, of course. If it's summertime, we've gone for a long trail ride and we load this up with 4 horses worth of gear, sweaty saddle pads and stuff like that, that roof vent's gonna move a lot of air through here for us. It's gonna make a big difference. If we're traveling down the road, I'd open it up and bring some fresh air in here. And maybe if you were sitting still, open it backwards and let some of that air move through it and catch some of that. So makes a big difference in this small space, because you could certainly turn it into a musty little area pretty quickly. So we'll get this guy closed up for you too. Double latches on this door. And again, like we said, everything is keyed alike. So the paddle latches, as well as the others, are gonna be keyed alike, excuse me. Big oversized bus windows on the hip side, not the small bus windows that we see on a lot of trailers. These guys do bring in a lot of air and a lot of ventilation for us, so that makes a big difference. And then running down the side of the trailer, even behind me, we've got a 4th tie ring here too. So nice to be able, we've got a 4-horse trailer, mirror image on driver's side. We'll have some tie rings over there as well. But nice to be able to have the option, tie them up all over here, get them all tacked up right next to your tack room. We've got an LED floodlight above us as well, so that's gonna shed a lot of light on things. Low power draw too. So really nice spot to get tacked up and do what we need to do. Let's change gears really quickly and talk about running gear. We talked about matching spare up front. These are 16-inch aluminum wheels on Goodyear tires. I think Goodyear speaks for itself in and of itself, so no need to say anything more there. Original running gear on this trailer, we are on Dexter torsion axles with electric drum brakes. Again, as with any trailer, make sure you have control of your electric brakes in your tow vehicle. So that's gonna make a big difference for you. Walking around to the back side of the trailer, we talked about some of the add-ons up front in terms of the closet tack, and that extra storage you get out of that makes our trailer just a little bit longer, but that's a big added extra. In terms of inside of the horse area and what we've got going on here, first and foremost, this is a worm floored trailer. So worm flooring is an acronym for we eliminate rubber mats. No more pulling mats every summer when you're done for the season of show and spraying this thing out and having to deal with those and pulling them back in. This is a permanent, non-porous flooring that is sealed permanently to the floor and the walls, and will never let anything penetrate down to Cimarron's aluminum floor. So they complement each other really well. Our suggestion, good housekeeping obviously, but depending on usage, once or twice a year, nose these guys up a little bit, get your pressure washer out and just pressure wash them straight out the back, let them dry out, and you're good to go. Build these trailers just a little bit longer in the back. This was originally a Transwest inventory trailer, so we do that so that we avoid having to do a telescoping rear divider, and we can still fold flat right up against that wall. Just a nice little added feature to eliminate more mechanics or anything like that that's going to hold us up. And then again, padded dividers. Springs are still holding strong for us. It wants to come a little bit. We do have a pretty good lean to the passenger side right now, so that makes a difference. And then our final divider is a nice stud divider. So full stud divider with a pad as well, so makes a big difference in this. And then the one thing you'll notice too, no changes with Cimarron's metal on plastic latching systems. These are going to be the standard slam latches that we like quite a bit and keep these trailers running quiet. And then big kick mats along the hip wall here as well, head wall, and then our partition wall as well. So gonna keep this trailer looking nice for a long time. And then Opti Brights throughout the trailer. Again, like we said, same fixtures that we're running in our trailers now. You're gonna see everything that's going on inside of here, whether it's late or early morning, and it's gonna be still an inviting place to bring your horse into if you are trying to load in those kind of dawn to dusk scenarios. And then like we said, in our tack room, we've got that two-way roof vent, obviously birthed from our horse area. We've been using those up here forever. You're gonna get a lot of airflow with those. We're in the mid 40s this morning, and I've got these drop windows opened on hip side or on head side behind me, and there's a nice breeze coming through right now. I wish I had one more layer on. So with that, and combined with these two-way roof vents, you can move a lot of air through these trailers. And then you can control it too. Morning like this morning, we could keep those closed up, have a couple of bus windows open up on the side, and keep everybody really, really comfortable. So again, fully padded dividers. It is a used trailer. Part of the reason we do some of these videos, and we've got a ton of pictures of these trailers too online, is to give you full disclosure and have a full look around, and certainly be honest about their condition. So we'll close this guy back up. I like these straps in lieu of the bar just because we're 6'10" wide, and it gets just a little unwieldy doing a full length bar like that. We talked about all our paddle latches being key to like as well. So if you did want to store, or you were at a hotel overnight, something like that, inside the stock compartment or the horse area of the trailer, you have the option to lock these up completely tight. And again, like I said, you'll get a master set of keys with the trailer, and you'll have the ability to lock up even the stock compartment. So a couple things along the back of the trailer. All our controls for our interior lights inside the trailer, our floodlights around the side and the back of the trailer are controlled right here. So really easy, driver's side, hop out of your tow vehicle and you have access to those. And then you'll see still standard, Cimarron does 4 taillights along the rears, on the rear sides of these trailers. I like that quite a bit, and all LED too. So working our way over here to driver's side, this is where we see those drop windows with the jail bars. Cimarron likes to keep that theme of kind of no hardware where you don't need it, and it's the same with the jail bars. We've got the flip up steps with the gas shocks, and we've got the jail bars that just fit in and out of that track. It's as simple as raising this up a little bit. You have the access to pull that out. Obviously don't want to run with these running down the road, but really easy access to offer some hay or water to our horses. Get hooked up to a lead shank or a chain or something like that before we load, or while we're unloading, something like that. Just a lot of added versatility, and then very secure going down the road. You'll see it gets a little tough. They do a nice suction cup that's still holding these tight against that wall too. So even in a cross breeze, they'll hold tight as you have them down. And then, like we said, it's getting towards winter time. We're certainly not thinking about crazy amounts of airflow this time of year. So we've got some bus windows in there that we can really regulate the temperature inside. Even this morning, it's in the mid 40s, maybe 50. If you had 4 horses in here, I'd certainly want to have some of these windows open and have some air moving through there. They can create a lot of heat in there, especially with Cimarron's insulated roof. Number 1 stall is an escape door, double latch, just for a little bit of added safety. Ton of people that end up in these 3 or 4 or 5 horses say that they end up using this number 1 stall 75% of the time or more for added storage. With that stud divider, you don't have to worry about anything rolling under their feet or behind them. And again, it's just one more spot. If you've got a bunch of totes, some bags of bedding, some bales of hay, something like that, you have that option. And we do hear a lot of people say, I've got 2 or 3 that I show regularly, but 4 that I would love to be able to haul around. And so that makes a big difference for them. And then again, still get a drop window. You retain that ability in the escape door, a little bit smaller to fit in there, but you're not losing really much airflow out of that whole situation too. So makes a big difference. Again, used trailers on our lot, they're ever changing. Our used inventory mostly comes from trade-ins on new inventory or sometimes other used inventory. So if you're curious about what we've got, please feel free to reach out. My email's down below, luke.sullivan@transwest.com. If you have questions specific to this trailer, you want some drawings of it, some weights, something like that, my cell phone also is 859-509-1282. You can call or text me if you like. And then if you'd like, please feel free to reference this trailer specifically via its stock number. It's 5U251127. Thanks for your time today, everybody. También hablo español. Have a great weekend.